Hello and welcome back to our channel. We're truly happy to have you here with us again today. As always, this video is more than just a story. While you listen, you will naturally improve your English, discover powerful new vocabulary, and learn about a man whose ideas quietly shape almost everything in your daily life, even though most people barely know his name. So get comfortable, and let's begin this remarkable journey together. Let's start with the simple question. When you switch on a light, charge your phone, or use any electrical device in your home, have you ever wondered who truly made that possible? Most people immediately think of one famous name, Thomas Edison. But what if I told you that the true genius behind much of our modern electrical world was a different man entirely? Someone whose brilliant ideas were often overshadowed, underappreciated, and in some cases even taken from him. Today, we are going to tell the powerful, emotional, and largely forgotten story of Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was born in 1856 in a small village in what is now Croatia. From a very young age, it was clear that his mind worked differently from those around him. He had an extraordinary memory, an unusual talent for mathematics, and perhaps most remarkably, the ability to visualize complex inventions entirely inside his imagination before ever building them physically. While other inventors relied heavily on trial and error, Tesla could mentally construct an entire machine, test it in his mind, and only then build the final version, almost perfectly designed from the very beginning. As a young man, Tesla moved to the United States in 1884, arriving with very little money, but carrying with him something far more valuable: a deep, unshakable belief in the power of electricity to transform human civilization. He initially worked for Thomas Edison, one of the most famous inventors of the era. However, their professional relationship quickly became complicated, largely because the two men held fundamentally different visions for the future of electricity. Edison strongly supported something called direct current, or DC, a system that worked well for short distances, but struggled significantly when transmitting electricity across larger areas. Tesla, on the other hand, believed passionately in an alternative system known as alternating current, or AC, which could travel much further distances far more efficiently. When Edison refused to support Tesla's ideas and reportedly failed to properly compensate him for his groundbreaking contributions, Tesla eventually left to pursue his vision independently. This disagreement soon escalated into one of history's most fascinating technological rivalries, often referred to as the War of Currents. Edison aggressively promoted direct current, while Tesla, supported by businessman George Westinghouse, championed alternating current. Eventually, after years of intense competition, Tesla's alternating current system proved far superior for large-scale power distribution, and it remains the foundation of our modern electrical grid to this very day. Despite this monumental achievement, Tesla's story does not end with simple triumph. Throughout his life, he continued developing extraordinary, visionary ideas, many of which were remarkably ahead of his time. He envisioned wireless communication decades before modern smartphones existed. He explored concepts closely resembling early radio technology, robotics, and even wireless energy transmission, imagining a world where electricity could be sent through the air itself, without any wires at all. However, Tesla's brilliant mind often outpaced the financial and technological realities of his era. investors frequently hesitated to fund ideas that seemed impossibly futuristic. Some historians argue that several of Tesla's original concepts were later developed, refined, and commercially successful only after other inventors, including Guglielmo Marconi with radio technology, built upon foundational principles that Tesla himself had pioneered years earlier, often without proper recognition or credit. This raises an important and somewhat tragic question. Why does history remember some inventors as legendary heroes, while others, equally brilliant, fade quietly into obscurity? Historians suggest several reasons. Unlike Edison, who was a skilled businessman and masterful self-promoter, Tesla remained deeply focused on pure innovation, often neglecting the financial and marketing aspects necessary to protect his own inventions and reputation. He was a dreamer, driven by genuine curiosity and a desire to benefit humanity, rather than personal fame or fortune. Tragically, despite his revolutionary contributions to modern civilization, Tesla spent his final years increasingly isolated, financially unstable, and largely forgotten by the public. He passed away in 1943 alone in a hotel room in New York City, with relatively little recognition for the immense impact his ideas would eventually have on the entire world. However, in recent decades, something remarkable has happened. Historians, scientists, and everyday people have rediscovered Tesla's extraordinary legacy. Today, his name symbolizes innovation, visionary thinking, and even inspired the naming of one of the world's most famous electric car companies. Slowly, the world has begun giving Tesla the recognition he arguably deserved all along. So, why does Tesla's story matter so deeply today? Because it teaches us something profoundly important about genius, recognition, and legacy. Sometimes true innovation isn't immediately rewarded or properly credited during a person's lifetime. Sometimes the world simply isn't ready to fully appreciate a brilliant idea until years or even decades later. Tesla's story reminds us that meaningful contribution to the world doesn't always require immediate recognition, but often requires patience, resilience, and an unwavering belief in one's own vision, even when others fail to understand it. Let's take a moment now to summarize everything we've learned today. Nikola Tesla was a brilliant inventor whose visionary ideas, particularly alternating current technology, fundamentally shaped our modern electrical world. Despite his groundbreaking contributions, he often struggled financially, faced intense rivalry, particularly with Thomas Edison, and frequently failed to receive proper credit for his revolutionary ideas during his lifetime. Only decades after his death did the world begin to fully recognize his extraordinary genius and lasting impact on modern civilization. Isn't it remarkable and perhaps a little humbling to realize how many of the technologies we rely on every single day were quietly shaped by a man history nearly forgot? If you found Tesla's powerful story as inspiring as we did, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating and educational content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.